What we have today, again, for those of you who came in late, today was the day that we dedicated the Moksha Mandir, which is, of course, that poster that's behind you there in the corner that's been there for, 8 months. And you looked at it at different times, and today is the day that the groundbreaking ceremony took place. And Tulasi said he saw the live broadcast.
Oh.
Did anyone else see the broadcast?
Oh, wonderful!
Okay. Wonderful. Well, what we did was we took a few photos from the ceremony, and they're not complete photos because we could only take them from where we were, so we couldn't exactly, stand up on stage and, show the camera and all that. But what we took, Dhyana and Jaya can walk us through now. And the sweet thing about this is because, you'll see many photos of the event, and you'll see the video too. But the nice thing is that, this happened a few hours ago. The groundbreaking of this building. How often do we break ground for buildings? Once. And we don't build a building every month. And we certainly don't build one of this importance. We build something like this once for Swamiji. And so in getting to see the photos so soon after it.
You're the first people to see them, I'm sure.
And that's true too. Besides the photographer, you are the first people.
Probably in all of India.
So what we'll do is we'll share our screen so you can see the photos. So you won't be able to see us, but you'll be able to see the photos. Okay? So let's also pray that Skype cooperate with us. And
can they see this now?
Yes.
Okay. This is the beginning. This is the beginning of the ceremony. We had a procession. These young men here in yellow, they're the brahmacharis. There's a group of them. They're going to be leading a procession with a statue, a bust of Swamiji. We're going to be taking it down into the gardens to through Swamiji's home to where we're holding the ceremony by the location of the future mandir.
And just another word about that. These brahmacharis are the one you see in front of you. Just to give you a sense, the one closest, not the one holding the photo, but the one in the foreground, is someone who was with us in Los Angeles. And then he was invited to come up to Ananda village for a visit, just for a visit. And he became a brahmachari, and there he is. He lives at the village now. Obviously, but in case you don't know, that's Nayaswamis Jaya in the foreground there, closest to us.
Oh, Jyotish is, you can see he's got the conch. We began our ceremony with Jyotish blowing the conch.
There's a bust of Swamiji. Yeah, he's pointing to it there. You'll get to see it better in other photos, but that was done by an Italian sculptor that did a beautiful job. So they are carrying that down on this, palanquin, and all the way down to where we're having the ceremony. So this is the very, very beginning.
And so we were actually all in the procession, and so couldn't very easily take photos of it. So this next photo is after it arrived.
Should I say, in the procession were the colony leaders from all over the world of Ananda. And behind us, as we got just below the building that you see to the right, Nayaswamis Jaya and 2 other Gurubais at different positions blew the conch 4 times, at one time in each direction. And then after that, we began to toss rose petals on this beautiful bust of Swamiji and sing a chant, Joy, Joy, Ever New Joy, in Italian, Gioia, Gioia, Sempre Nuova Gioia. There were people lining all the gardens all the way down to the picture you saw just after that, chanting. Some people were weeping, people were tossing the flower petals. And this is where we ended up after the procession.
This is a choir, a singing group. They were beginning the ceremony with songs.
They're from all the Ananda colonies, at least in the U.S.
Yeah.
No, there was Gorgia from India.
Gorgia from India as well.
One or two Indian.
And someone from Italy as well.
Oh.
Jyotish began the program with a prayer, and now he's giving a discourse on Swami's life.
There were several hundred people there. You're seeing the beautiful Crystal Hermitage gardens with the Crystal Hermitage, which is really the heart of Ananda. You see it at the back there. Swamiji's home is there. We probably got some shots of that, but and there you see the swimming pool. So all around there were people seated from really everywhere. I don't know how many countries were represented, but several. And this was the major event at Ananda for this year.
And for those of you who were in Chennai, you may recognize Karpani
Yes.
when she came with
That's
Dhyana ji
right.
on the last visit. So there she was. There she was this morning.
And this is Devi. She followed Jyotish, and she too is giving a brief, about a 10-minute talk about the importance of Swami's life and the impact that he has had upon the spread of his Guru's work.
This was Jyotish holding up a yantra that was pressed into copper, I think. It was given to him by Swami Shankarananda of Rishikesh, who is also in our Kriya line of masters, meaning he's a disciple through that lineage, through Sri Yukteswarji, and so, or through Master also. And so he said, you know, at the base of the Moksha Mandir, this would be a very powerful and appropriate yantra for that. And so Jyotish was explaining that. And then he placed it into that box that you see there, the sort of yellow-colored box below the bust, where Devi is standing, to represent the foundation stone or the foundation piece of the Moksha Mandir.
Then they invited, Jyotish and Devi ji invited the colony leaders to come up and offer soil from each colony. And that soil is being placed in the box there first by Devi ji, and then everyone placed their soil in, and that will be in the earth at the Moksha Mandir site.
We're going to go one by one just so you can also say who they are.
Okay. So this is Nayaswami, Jyotish and Devi placing their soil. Jayaji and myself placing soil from India. This was the Italian spiritual leaders, not Italian, from Italy, Nayaswamis Ananda and Kirtani, offering soil from Italy.
And of course, as some of you remember, you met them in Pune last year in September when we went up for the retreat then.
This is, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Nayaswami Hriman from Seattle, and they're Nayaswami Padma.
There she is.
There she is on the left. And that's Nayaswami Daiva and Gangamata offering
box,
soil from Portland. They have two communities in Portland, Laurelwood community and the Portland community, two from Oregon. This is Nayaswami Dharmadas, and he's announcing the placing of soil. Nayaswami Nirmala is placing it in the receptacle. They are the leaders of our group in Sacramento, California, the state capital.
Go ahead. David and Asha.
And then following them is Nayaswamis David and Nayaswami Asha, and they're offering soil from Palo Alto, California, our community in that region. This is Bhakti Marg. She is offering soil on behalf of all of the groups in Latin America, Colombia, Venezuela, Mexico, and the Spanish ministry itself around the world. And this is Christy Hecht from representing the meditation groups from around the world and the Ananda centers from around the world, and also she particularly is the center leader in the East Coast of America.
There was a sweet aspect to this too, that she also represents here the Ananda online community, the virtual community, and that, of course, through India, we've begun an element of that for India with these online classes. It's been going for some time in America, and actually people get together online, they chat, they post, they email to each other, and the membership of that community makes it our second largest community worldwide. Ananda Village being the first, but the virtual community has the second largest number of members and will probably at some point exceed Ananda Village and be our largest. So she, I think, offered some virtual soil from the virtual community, but they were represented physically. And so it was very important too. As Dhyanaji mentioned, there were 150 computers watching this ceremony, including 3 from Chennai, at least. Yeah. This is the only picture we had of the fire ceremony. This is the view from the stage, but maybe you can explain the fire ceremony.
Well, we followed the placing of the soil with the fire ceremony. We had a havan there on the stage, on the dais, and we lit the fire and we chanted Gayatri mantra and Mahamrittyunjaya mantra 7 times each, putting ghee and rice into the fire, and everybody was reciting it with us as we were doing that.
Yeah. We had Swamiji's chanting of those mantras going in the background. We were singing along with him, and it was a very still and powerful moment when the mantras began and the whole time of the Bhumi Pujan began. People remained standing, and do you have any more of the coconut?
No, because we were in it.
Acha. So they were a part of the ceremony, Dharminian Dharmarajan, so he couldn't get other pictures. But following the fire ceremony, then I told people what the cracking of the coconut, what significance it has, and Jayaji really strongly cracked the coconut.
We all got a little wet. Yeah.
And then afterwards, he sprinkled the water in different directions, mainly behind, because that behind here is where the Moksha Mandir site actually is. And then we had holy water from the Ganges, and I sprinkled that in 4 directions. And then everybody ended by everyone that you see there, everyone chanted Om. So it was it made the whole morning, I think, very deep and very powerful. And Nayaswamis Jyotish and Devi said that for sure. They were so glad that we had that part of the ceremony included.
And also, just for those of you who came in late, Lata Gupta, who is part of Ananda Pune, came and participated in the Bhumi Puja too, representing Ananda India along with the rest of us. And she actually flew from India to here just for the day, just to be in this ceremony. And then tomorrow she's flying back
to her mom's on the East
She'll
Coast.
visit her family for a little bit, for a few days before returning to India, but she came just for this. And do you know why she came? I do. Because Dhyanaji asked her.
She was taking me to the airport in Pune, and I was telling her where I was going to be going, and I said, Lata, why don't you come? And she said, well, I actually am visiting my mother at that time in America. I said, well, why don't you come? She says, okay. And then she told me, she said, later I thought about it, and I thought, now why did I tell her yes? And then she said, but I made a promise, so I was going to go. And today she was overjoyed. She said, I'm just so glad I came.
and just to clarify too, for Lata, I mean, she flew to California for one day for this, but this was her first time in America.
Right.
This is a young lady by the name of Gita. She's actually she's the daughter of one of the colony leaders of that presented soil. Her mother and father are the leaders of our group in Seattle, and so she was born and raised at the Nanda village. Now she's she's a mother herself, and she's holding in her hands a large box, which is full of messages of blessing that people have written to give about Swamiji, messages that they tokens of remembrance for Swamiji and his soul, and each person has put a message in that box, and that too will be placed in the mandir when it's completed. Once we put Swamiji's remains there, that box will accompany him.
There, right?
And just as Dhyanaji is saying, for many of you, this was your part of the ceremony because your message was in there.
Oh.
Sharmila, Agnel, Bhaskar, and others of you who sent us those messages, we emailed them to Gita last night and then begged her to please write back and confirm that yes, she got them and could print them out. And so at 7 a.m. this morning, 2 hours before the ceremony was getting ready, she wrote to us and said, they're all in.
Yeah.
So your messages are in that box in her hands right there, if you had sent them to us earlier.
If any of you didn't send a message and you wish you had, we're going to be, this whole year, we're going to be collecting these messages, and when the building is completed, we'll then put these in the foundation itself, or in a special place as we put Swamiji's remains into that final resting spot. These messages will go with
I think
them.
there'll be many, many messages.
There's probably many boxes, I suspect.
Yeah, so you haven't at all missed out. In one of our emails, we sent you the link that you can go to where you can directly type your message and it will go to Gita, and then she'll print it out and include it. And she said this will actually go directly below Swamiji's body in the Moksha Mandir. So his body is under the Moksha Mandir itself, but then these messages will be even below him, just showing all of our love and our sort of foundation too in offering that to him. And so she placed that box there on top of the soil, again representing the foundation stone in a way of the Moksha Mandir.
Then after the completion of that ceremony, many of us, all of the leaders, we went to the actual site of the mandir, and we had, this is a very, in America, this is a very traditional thing that is done at the inauguration of a building. Is we give each person a shovel, and they take a little bit of soil and dig it out of one, make a little in a spot. They'll take a spade full of soil, symbolic of their efforts of inaugurating the building. So here you see different people. That's Lata there on the left, digging up a little bit of earth.
and then Gorja.
Oh, and Gorja, if you can just see her too with the shovel on the right.
She's in yellow. She's
Yeah.
also from Ananda, Gorgon. She's Sangita's daughter, for those of you who know Sangita, or Gaurav's sister, for those of you who know Gaurav. And you might have heard Dhyana ji laughing a little bit when he was talking about the breaking of the ground, because the ground was particularly difficult to break.
Yes, it would have been much
My
better if
goodness.
they would have prepared it a little bit, softened it up, because it was very hard.
Pretty hard.
So, and just also to point out, between Lata and Gorja, you see a couple in blue there. That's Nayaswamis Narayan and Dharmadevi, and they lead the center in Los Angeles. They had also offered a soil offering from Los Angeles.
Oh, that's beautiful.
This was everyone witnessing the groundbreaking, and then many of the people here also came and then did it with the shuffle, the groundbreaking. This is, I know of course you're on there's a TV, this is Karpani again here. This is Nayaswami Devarshi, who many of you may have seen his talks online or seen his photo. He directs the Kriya Sangha in America, the Americas, I should say, North and South America. He took over for Dhyana ji. She said she already had a job when she came to India, and when she gave up that job that she had, he took that job over. He's a wonderful soul. And I can't help but pointing out here Tyagini Lisa. She's here, and Dharmini and I are staying with her right now, her and her husband. They are having us as house guests, and
Nice.
so we're very grateful for that. And so some of you may recognize Dr. Peter here in the foreground. He was in the Ananda, the Finding Happiness movie. He
Right.
talked about the brain and how meditation helps the brain, and you used to get to see the videos of the neurons firing and so on. And so he was here, of course, for the ceremony. This is now a shot of the bust after the ceremony, and here's a close-up. This may to you seem beautiful but standard, but actually this level of flower decoration is not seen very often in America. And several people were telling us that was like an Indian-style flower decoration. We'd love it. Oh, we should do this all the time. It's so beautiful.
It was really.
Yeah. So this was at lunch afterwards.
Fun.
And so everyone who was in the procession of the ceremony, we had lunch together. And so this is Dharmini and Nayaswami Gangamata, who is from Portland. And there's Lata in the background too, and others. So I think Padma was telling a joke. And
Lovely.
this is Christy Hecht we were talking about. She had offered the soil at the virtual community and from the meditation groups and centers. And she's a dear friend. She's actually one of the first people I myself met when coming to Ananda, because she was my first, one of my very first Ananda events. She was there, and when I met her, I just thought she was an old friend. And so she said she felt the same about me walking through the door. Here's this new person, but haven't we met before? And so you know that we have said that to some of you when you've come through the door. Haven't we met before? And so so it continues.
Oh, fun.
And so, of course, you know Lata by now. It'll be nice when she comes to visit us sometime in Chennai, and she speaks good Tamil, actually. She has a friend from Tamil Nadu she grew up with, so she learned to speak Tamil
that's a great picture.
as well. So that was we had a little tea afterwards.